Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my top fragrance recommendations for the winter. My picks that will at least have you smelling amazing while you're freezing. We have designer and niche. Let's do it. First up is Tobacco Vene from Tom Ford. A cold weather classic. This is many people's go-to fragrance when those temperatures start to drop. And as the name would imply, this is sweet tobacco with vanilla, but combined with this beautiful kind of plummy dried fruit note and cacao. And you are going to find a very strong tobacco note in here. I know that with a lot of other kind of tobacco centered fragrances, that it may not be as prominent in the scent. You're probably going to get some other things that are going to overpower the tobacco, but that is not the case with Tobacco Vene. It is a true tobacco fragrance. And because of that, it may be a little bit polarizing. When you smell this, you either love it or you hate it, or you hate it and you come to love it. It is exotic and spicy, and those dried fruits, it really makes the fragrance, and it kind of gives it something festive and Christmassy with this blooming, very aromatic spice and tobacco. A bit woody in the base. And this fragrance is a total beast. There is a reason that this is so popular. It's not overly sweet, but just sweet enough. Tobacco, vanilla, and dried fruits. Iconic. Tobacco Vene from Tom Ford. Gris Charnel Extrait from BDK. A complete stunner. This is cardamom. A rich, decadent cardamom combined with fig and iris and black tea. This fragrance is very famous for having this kind of like chai tea latte spice to it with vanilla and creamy sandalwood. There are going to be a lot of very creamy facets to Gris Charnel Extrait, and also very orris butter iris forward. So alluring with this addictive sweetness. It has vetiver and patchouli. It's definitely denser, a little bit more gourmand feeling than the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum for me was a little bit more floral, little vegetal, and much airier, fluffier. But I love that milky, creamy fig and sandalwood in the Extrait. Mixed with spice, that orris brings a lot of elegance. One of the absolute greatest fig fragrances, a beautiful, wearable, dimensional gourmand. Gris Charnel Extrait. We have a hidden gem fragrance line from the luxury Swiss watch and jewelry makers Chopard. This is Amber Maliki. And the best part about it is this is so affordable on discounters. It smells niche and luxurious. Kind of a sappy, syrupy amber resin with vanilla and smoky facets. There's incense, labdanum and papyrus, and orange blossom. It kind of gives me more incensey, smoky, a little more exotic Herod from Parfum de Marly vibes. But there is something very slightly indolic about this fragrance. It's sensual and kind of churchy, but balanced by a really natural sweet vanilla. It's the type of fragrance that really needs to go on the skin. It really needs the warmth of your body and your pH to really bloom and to get the full experience of it. But it is really beautiful. For less than $40, it smells like a $400 niche fragrance. The whole line is beautiful. This is Amber Maliki. So I could go on and on and on about Big Ben from Oscar London. This came out in 2017 and has somehow just totally flown under the radar, but I can't get enough of it. It is a beautiful, very unique rose patchouli fragrance that is just so multifaceted, so complex, but seamless feeling and opulent. It has red fruits and this hint of tobacco and rum with Bulgarian rose that feels very silky and smooth and rich, along with this gorgeous, like probably my favorite thing about this fragrance is the toasted hazelnut note. Just add something different, something a bit nutty, kind of spicy too, but Overall, it's a very elegant rose patchouli fragrance with booziness, nuttiness, and woods. Incredible 12+ hour performance with a huge sillage. This performs almost eternally. Dark, mysterious, but elegant and dressy. It is gorgeous. Big Ben from Oscar London. Next up, we have Dolce Gabbana the One Oda Parfum. You can never go wrong with this line, but the Eau de Parfum is one of my favorites, especially for the cold weather. This is cardamom and ambroxan, a little bit of tobacco, but not so much, with ginger and orange blossom. And what makes this fragrance just so incredibly appealing is this zesty, bright grapefruit and ginger. That combination is killer in fragrances, and I love how in the one, it gives it this very invigorating, like attention-grabbing opening, but contrasted with a warmer, like more ambery, spiced base. It just checks every box. The only thing that this thing is missing out on is performance. It's not the strongest performing, but honestly, it's so affordable on discounters, kind of makes up for it. And if you want a crazy layering combination that I tried recently that is also going to help bump up the performance of this, try layering the One Eau de Parfum with La Nuit de l'Homme Eau de Toilette from YSL. Killer combination, thank me later. Next up is something deliciously edible, Amore Cafe from Manera. This is very sexy, cozy, espresso melting over vanilla ice cream, like fluffy vanilla ice cream with cherry, amaretto booziness. There's definitely a kind of subtle cherry facet here, like almond cherry. It is a true realistic gourmand. And because of the amaretto in this, it makes it more unisex feeling. This is very, very attractive on a man, delicious on a woman as well. But you have to like sweet true gourmands in order to love this. Boozy gourmands. It is so yummy. There is brown sugar and vanilla and coffee. And I love how this sweet vanilla in here really contrasts with a more bitter coffee. It definitely has a strong like espresso feeling, black coffee. It is heaven. So pleasant to smell. It's just a good mood fragrance. Kind of celebratory, also feels like the holidays. It's another just good mood scent. Like you can never be sad wearing Amore Cafe from Manera. Something different to try. Not what a lot of men typically gravitate towards, but hey, you might be surprised at how good it smells on you and the attention that you'll get from the people around you. Don't knock gourmands until you try it. Next up is Valentino Uomo Intense. This is a very sexy, masculine date night fragrance for the colder weather. It is rich, creamy, buttery orris with sweet tonka beans and a thick vanilla. It is so good. And you kind of get this like orange creamsicle type of vibe just because of this very strong, like overall very creamy texture of the fragrance. So classy and dressy and mixed with a touch of leather. It really just embodies the romance of a date night. A dinner in a low-lit place, and also unique. And this gets compared to things like Dior Homme Parfum and Intense. I think it's kind of more like in the middle between the two, and it's definitely the easiest to wear and the most enjoyable, mass appealing version of those two. Definitely something worth trying, and also, once again, just insanely affordable on discounters. Valentino Uomo Intense. Now, this was a new discovery for me. This is called Spontaneous Generosity by State of Mind. And first off, I love the name. Like, I'm sold on the marketing of the name 100%. And also, little detail I noticed, we have a magnetic cap. This is a very rich, thick, kind of sappy, balmy, balsamic fragrance. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Say that 3 times fast. And it's very interesting to me because somehow it's a very dark scent, but also at the same time a little bit tropical. Like there's some sort of tropical facet to this, but at the same time it also has black tea and fig, but nothing like Gris Charnel or the Extrait version. This has a very nice blended smooth caramel and cherry note with Peru balsam, benzoin and rose. It is deep and alluring, but it has this brightness in the top. It's an oriental sweet tea fragrance with many complex layers. This is one that really transforms a lot. A dimensional gourmand that is not too sweet, but has many different layers to discover. Really nice and a very unique fig tea fragrance. We see a lot of scents that have that kind of like fig black tea combination, but this is something that really stands out on its own. And I'm now very interested to try others from State of Mind. This is a great discovery for me, and you can try it over on So Avant-Garde, and you can save 10% with my code OdaErica10. Next up is Pache de Cartier Noir Absolu in the all black bottle. This is also a very, very unique fragrance and definitely a standout from your typical like Pache and Cartier fragrances. This is woody and smoky with caramel and spice with a hint of violet, kind of like a dark, sweet patchouli. There's greenness, it's slightly animalic, very mysterious with a lot of attitude, and there's something about this that kind of reminds me of By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. Not in the same world at all, but there's something related to it, but more masculine, less sweet. So if you like that idea, By the Fireplace, less sweet, a little bit more masculine with an animalic twinge, try this. Very, very elegant and so different, but I would recommend trying this in store definitely because it's going to be a bit polarizing, but I think it's beautiful. Pache de Cartier Noir Absolu. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video with a beautiful fragrance, Rare Woods Elixir from Habibi, New York. This is luxury in a bottle. Very exotic, kind of Arabic feeling and spice. It's kind of taking the inspiration from the spices of the Middle East, but making it very wearable and enjoyable for everyone around the world. It is so appealing and balanced, and this has a gorgeous, just delicious date note with milkiness, but supported and really lifted up with cinnamon and bergamot and a beautiful, very enveloping, very strong cardamom note. And this also has tea too. There's been a lot of fragrances on this list with tea, but this has a more sparkling, kind of effervescent tea and ginger. It's not a dense type of scent that's going to weigh you down. Like I said, it's very wearable. And the dates are just so, like the dates just get me every time that I smell this. Kind of resinous in the base with amber and benzoin. It's so, I just want to say it over and over, it's so wearable. Because of these lighter notes that lift it up, it makes it feel more versatile while still smelling so unique. And there's also almost something a little bit coffee-like about it. Kind of musky too, and woody. It's honestly kind of hard to put exactly into words how much I like what I'm smelling and how much I like it. The whole house is amazing. I've tried many fragrances from Habibi, New York, and I've loved almost every single one of them, but this has always been a standout for me. And it's one of their best sellers as well. Perfectly done, balanced, versatile, not too dark, not too heavy, a very elegant dimensional gourmand with some very light sweetness. It is a 10 out of 10. Rare Woods Elixir from Habibi, New York. Seriously, at the very least, I would get a discovery kit from them, especially for their reserve collection. Beautiful, beautiful fragrances.